Good morning, children. Welcome back to Class 5 English, Lesson 11. The name of the lesson is The Piper of Manas. Let us see what's there in the story. This story is about helping a one-horned baby rhino recover from the shock of losing its mother. The Piper of Manas. Pika Nani is the pen name of Deepika Murthy, who has written Little Indians, a collection of stories for children. The stories take the readers through 15 states of India and are marked by adventure and unexpected endings. They are an attempt to introduce children to interesting places in India that one can visit. A bolt of lightning ripped the sky in half, illuminating the desolate, submerged landscape. What do you think about these lines and why are these lines highlighted in red? Let us see the meaning. A bolt of lightning ripped the sky in half means a sudden flash of lightning looked as if it would tear the sky in two. And illuminating the desolate submerged landscape means showing the empty flooded scene. Now what could be seen? Because of the lightning, you could have seen the empty flooded scene. In that fraction of a second, Dr. Subhendu Pukhan saw the silhouette of something on the branch of a tree barely above water level. He couldn't believe his eyes. Now, who saw something there? Dr. Subhendu Pukhan. What did he see? He saw a silhouette. Silhouette means the dark outline or a shape of something when there is very little light. And where was it sitting? It was sitting on the branch of a tree. Barely above water level means almost at the same level as the water. The doctor could see something sitting. He couldn't believe his eyes. Take the boat near that tree, he shouted to his mate in the rescue boat. Now, where were they? They were in the rescue boat, and he started shouting at his friend and telling that take the boat near the tree. Sure enough, wedged dangerously between the tree trunk and a branch was a baby rhinoceros. As they were moving there, they saw that something was stuck in the tree trunk. And what was it? It was a baby rhinoceros. Wedged means it was squeezed tightly into a narrow space in a way that made it very difficult to move. It could not move here and there or escape. Look into the picture, children. You can see baby rhino, Dr. Subhendu Pukhan, and somebody standing next to him. And also he is called as his mate, means friend. The sound of thunder shook the earth and the furious tide almost capsized their small boat. His colleagues studied the boat as Dr. Pukhan reached out to the scared animal. Using all his strength, he lifted the calf of the tree. Now what happened? As soon as they were reaching there, they heard the thunder. Sudden sound of thunder. It shook the earth and the furious tide almost capsized. Means it overturned the small boat because of the noise of the thunder. The boat was oversized, and now his friend studied the boat, and Dr. Pukhan reached out about to the scared animal. Using all his strength, what he did, he lifted the calf of the tree. From the tree, he lifted the rhino. Just then the branch gave way and fell with a big splash into the water. If they had been a minute late, the baby would have been washed away in the floods. As big blobs of rain began to fall again, the doctor wrapped the calf in his raincoat and slowly steered the boat back to safety. Now, what happened as soon as they reached there and they took the baby rhino from the branch, now the branch, what happened? It fell into pieces with a big splash. It fell into the pieces into the water. If they were late, what could have happened? The baby rhino could have been washed away in the floods. Now, doctor took the baby rhino and he wrapped baby rhino with his raincoat. Why? Because it was heavily raining, and slowly after taking the calf, they moved the boat into a particular direction. The baby rhinoceros was lucky. Every monsoon, the mighty Brahmaputra swells and submerges Kaziranga National Park that lies in its floodplains. This year, the deluge was more severe because of the relentlessness heavy rains. Most of Kaziranga was under water and hundreds of animals had been washed away trying to escape to higher land. Among them could possibly have been the mother of this rhino calf. Now, what usually used to happen and where there was this happen? It was in the Brahmaputra river. What happens because of the over water flowing or the floods when they come, what happens? Brahmaputra river flows, and what happens? Kaziranga National Park used to be light in the floods because of the heavy rain. And this year too the same thing happened, and what happened? Whole Kaziranga National Park was under the water and lots of animals were being washed away and many died in the water. And now the doctor thinks that most of the thing, the mother rhino's mother was also washed away in the water. Dr. Pukan, a veterinarian, had come from Assam's other well-known national park, Manas, to keep in the rescue operations. Back at the camp, he attended to the rhino calf. The injuries were not grave, but the calf needed close monitoring for the next 48 hours. Coming to a decision, Dr. Pukan sought the necessary permissions and took the rhino with him to Manas. Now, what has happened here? Who is a veterinarian? Veterinarian is a person who treats animals that are sick, injured, or need for medicines for their health. Now, what has happened? The rhino was not well, so that the veterinarian who visited there, he wanted to take the calf to his place. Where is his place? The name of his place is Manas. And now he took the permission and then to keep close monitoring. Monitoring means something we have to watch them very closely and make sure it is well or not. For that reason, what happened? Because the calf was very serious, the veterinarian doctor, he brought it to his place called as Manas. His two children, Arnab and Radhika, came running out when their father got home and squealed in delight to see the calf. Arnab was 10 and Radhika was 5 years old. They had grown up surrounded by animals and were very comfortable with them. What is the name of the children? The name of the children are Arnab and Radhika. He had two children. So Dr. Pukan had two children. They came running as father came home and they saw a calf with him. They were very happy. And Arnab was 10 years old and Radhika was 5 years old. They both were very much comfortable with the animal because they were living with the animals surrounded in their house. The baby rhino looked at them with his little button eyes. How did baby rhino look into them? It looked with its little button eyes. It started to look the children. Imam Morom Lage means he is cute. He's so cute. Look at his pointed ears, said Radhika. Now Radhika is watching it and telling that it's very cute. Till then, Arnab is telling there is a little bump on his nose. Bump means a small round thing is there on his nose. Till then, father is explaining and telling that is where the horns will grow. Here he is, after all, a great Indian one-horned rhinoceros. So, what is it? It is a rhinoceros. Dr. Pukhan took the calf to the stabilization center where he was to be monitored. He returned home in the evening looking very worried. Now, where did Dr. Pukhan take the calf? He took the calf to the stabilization center. It's a stabilization center is a place where sick or injured animals are treated so that they recover and keep well. But as he came back home, he was looking worried. What is the matter, Data? Arnab asked him. Is it something about the rhino? Now, as father came home, Data means father is called as Data in their language. And now Arnab is asking, is something wrong, father? No, no, nothing. He needs time to adjust, that's all, replied his father. But Dr. Pukan was actually very worried about the rhino. The baby was traumatized. He was just a few weeks old and probably missed his mother. He had to be fed every 3 hours, but giving him a bottle of milk had been a struggle. He had not stirred from his place the whole day, despite their best efforts to get him up and about. The doctor knew that if this went on, the baby would not survive too long. Now, as the son was asking something, doctor said, no, no, nothing, no problem. He needs time. The calf needs time to recover from the shock and get used to his new surroundings, nothing else. But Dr. Pukan was actually worried about the baby because it was traumatized, means it was in severe shock and pain. And he was just few weeks old when his mother was missed away from him, and he wanted to be fed every 3 hours. What they used to give? They used to give a bottle of milk. But what happened? The baby calf, it never used to get up from the place. It was still sitting. It was well enough to move and eat, but it was not going to do any other work. If this goes on, what is the doctor thinking? The baby will not survive. The next day after school, Arnab and Radhika went to see the rhino calf. He was lying down in a corner of the open enclosure. They were told that their father was on work but expected back soon. Since he had forbidden the children from ever approaching wild animals on their own, they moved a little away to wait for him. Now, as the school was left, the children, they came there to the place where the animals were treated or where the father used to be there. Till then, what did they see? They saw the animal, the calf, was sitting in a place where an animal is kept without a cage, but they never went near it because father always used to tell them that you're not supposed to go near the animals. So they did not go near the vehicle, but they moved a little away and started to wait his father. Arnab was learning to play the flute and always carried it with him. He started to play a new tune he had learnt in music class that day. He played well, each note in place, the tone bright, the pitches rising. The lively folk tune got Radhika dancing and whirling around her brother. Arnab had closed his eyes and was concentrating on the music when he felt Radhika clutch his arm and shake him. He stopped playing and opened his eyes. Now what has happened? They felt bored sitting there and waiting for his father. Arnab, as he was learning to play flute, he also used to carry the flute with him every day to every place wherever he go. So what has happened? He started to play the music. Till then, the pitches, the each note in a place and the tone bright and the pitches started to rise. What happened? Radhika wanted to dance. She started to dance twirling around means spinning quickly around her brother. She started to dance. But what was Arnab doing? He was concentrating only to the music. Till then, what happened? Radhika went near him and held his hand tightly, his arm, and started to shake him. He stopped playing and opened his eyes. The baby rhino was standing just a few feet away from them. Equally surprised, the rhino moved back a few paces, ready to go back to its corner. Suddenly, why the girl held the hand? Because the rhino was standing just a few feet away near to them. It moved back slowly. When the children started to move and look into the rhino also moved back a few steps. Play it again, whispered Radhika. Arnab put the flute to his lips and played the same tune again. The calf slowly came near them, bobbing its head and squealing as if enjoying the music. Radhika stroked the rhino's back. Now, what happened? As the music was played, the baby rhino came near them. Till then, Radhika told Arnab to continue to play the music. As they were playing the music, the calf came nearby to them, bobbing his head, means moving his head up and down in quick movements. And what happened? They all were happy. Radhika stroked. Slowly, she touched the rhino's back. Dr. Pukan had returned a few minutes earlier and was watching the scene in amazement. It was true that animals respond to music. Not just cats and dogs, but even big animals like horses canter to music, and elephants could even play certain instruments. But he was sure there had been no previous study about the effect of music on rhinoceros. Now, what happened? Dr. Pukan had written few minutes earlier itself when the boy started to play the music. Dr. Pukan was watching what they were all doing, and he knew that animals respond to the music, but he never knew that rhinoceros also do the same thing, or they respond to the music. He knew some animals will play certain instruments, but not rhinoceros. Then again, it was possible that they would respond to music, as a rhino's hearing is quite sharp and they make a variety of sounds themselves, or it could be that this rhino calf was special. Now, the doctor is thinking that this rhino calf may be very special, or its hearing is very sharp, or it can make variety of sounds to itself, so it is responding to the music. Devta, cried Radhika, noticing her father. You know what happened just now? Arnab was playing his flute and I was dancing, and the baby rhino came close to us. Isn't it great? Just like the Pied Piper story. Now, Radhika saw her father and called, Father, do you know what has happened? Arnab is playing the flute and I was dancing, and the baby rhino came closer to me. Now, it is more fantastic than the story. After all, rhinos are much bigger than mice, replied the dazed doctor. That was when the children decided to name the calf Bai, which meant bamboo flute in Assamese. Now, what happened? The doctor was very much confused, and he told the children that the rhinos are nothing but the mice, the bigger than the mice. It's not the small mice, it's the bigger mice. And the children wanted to name it Calf Bai. And what was the meaning of Calf Bai? It was bamboo flute in Assam. Dr. Pukan realized there was now a way to get Bai back to normal. Arnab and Radhika were only too excited to help. Arnab played the flute for Bai every day. Radhika helped to feed the calf. Soon the baby rhino came running to Arnab every time he heard the flute, and like Radhika went round and round him as if dancing to the tune. Now what happened? Dr. Pukan was very much impressed by this, and he thought that Bai would be normal because of my children Arnab and Radhika. Every day Arnab used to play music, Radhika used to dance, and she used to feed the calf. And what happened? Slowly baby rhino started to adjust to everyone, and also it started to run behind the children. So it started to become normal. Hope all have understood the story, children. The summary of the story. One stormy day when the Brahmaputra had flooded the Kaziranga National Park, Dr. Subhendu Pukhan, a veterinarian, finds from Assam, other national park Manas, finds a one-horned baby rhino stranded on the branch of a tree. It seemed to have lost its mother and was in shock. As the rhino calf required monitoring for the next 48 hours, Dr. Pukan took it with him to Manas. His children Arnab and Radhika were very excited to see the rhino calf. Dr. Pukan was very worried as the rhino calf was barely having any milk and had not moved from its place. The children go to visit the rhino and watch him from a distance. Arnab, who is learning to play the flute, starts playing a new tune that gets Radhika dancing and twirling around. The sound of the music draws the rhino calf and it starts bobbing its head and squealing. Dr. Pukan is amazed to see the effect of the music on the little one. There was finally a way to bring Bai back to normal. It was a sight to see the rhino calf come running every time Arnab played the flute. No one had studied the effect of music on rhinoceros. Maybe this rhino was very special. Hope all have understood the story, children. Thank you.